Alright, so this is going to be, make sure we got all this right. This is going to be a first stack offense review, specifically against Alliance. I got some notes here that I want to kind of start off with for this video. So, I mean, a lot of problems we're having is basically not cutting from the back a lot of times. But when we do cut from anywhere, we tend to sit in the lane a bit too long. We need to make sure we quickly cut to the open space, whether it's the break side or the force side, and make sure we quickly clear back to the stack. And when we do clear back to the stack, we need to make sure that we are clearing back to the middle of the stack, and really we don't want to clear back to either the front or directly back to the back of the stack, because those are the two most active parts of the stack. So unless you're going to be willing to cut immediately as soon as you get to the front or the back of the stack, then you need to cut and clear back to the middle of the stack. Make sure there's somebody behind you. Make sure there's somebody in front of you. And the stack needs to clear space and allow that cutter to come back to the middle of the stack. All right, so I think a lot of the other notes we're kind of going to go over as we go over this video. So without further ado, let's get started with this first offensive point. Probably going to do this on the fly a bit, so bear with me. Might put it in slow motion at sometimes, but let's get started. So this opening point, the camera starts with me throwing the disc to Ryan right here.
Just say the score. So 0-0.
Yep. So Ryan catches it, and immediately Ryan's got the disc right. Dicky was back handling. So what I don't like about what Dicky's doing right here is he comes up the open side. They're going to be forcing flick. So Dicky is directly in this upfield lane right now. So he either needs, if he's going to go up the sideline right here, he either needs to run deep up the sideline fast, or what he should have done as Ryan was thrown this disc was stay behind Ryan and then get even with Ryan, right about where I am right now. And if Dicky had done that, I could have gone to the front of the stack, and Dicky could become the dump handler. So we played a little bit more. Instead, he's kind of jogging up the field. So that's some clogging. But Ryan looks back to the dump. Doesn't throw it the first time. Throws it this time. Dicky still in the lane. Probably should have cleared out and made sure we got a cut from the back of the stack in the open lane. So it's a good dump. I think we swing this disc to the center. Yeah, we center the disc right here. Now right here, I move upfield. I should have immediately stayed 45 degrees behind Brandon on the force side. That way we could either set up a wheel cut, or if I wanted to, if they take that away, I could go upfield to where I am now to get power position. But I realize that I'm clogging this open lane by moving upfield, so I come back immediately. Brandon hits me. Now we need to cut from the back of the stack really here. As soon as I catch this disc, Brandon strikes. It's a good strike cut, but what we need to stress now is we really need to initiate with cutters. We're initiating with handlers a bit too much, and it's causing the back of the stack to become confused at times, or cut at the same time if we are striking immediately. I think as handlers we need to be a bit more patient and not strike quickly unless we just absolutely know we can burn our man for a power position. But I'd like to start really initiating more with the cutters from the back of the stack. once we get this disc centered or to the force side. Brandon makes a good strike cut. I hit him.
Nice, Brandon.
He's there. So now we're on the force side, right? We need to cut from the back of the stack. I'm not sure where it is because of the camera angle.
Get there.
Brandon tries to throw it to somebody, probably Ryan right there, and gets foot blocked. So I believe they just break right here. Let's see, yeah, Mitch. A couple swings, and then, yeah, they score. So
1-0 Alliance.
We'll skip the defensive part. Like I said, we're just going to go over a lot of offense. So this is point number 2. So as the stack is moving downfield, like I've caught the pool right here, right? And we're still working to get in the stack. Like, look where the defense is. A lot of this defense has already ran 3/4 of the field before we've even barely made it past the brick mark as the stack. The stack needs to really hustle into position, especially Ryan being at the back of the stack, because you're going to be asked to be the first cutter. Like, you have to get there and get in position. All right, so I catch this pull. We're going to center this to Dickey. Now, right here is where Ryan should be cutting. The open side is open. I'm positioned behind Dickey. There's nothing. We're all stacked. There's nothing in the open lane on the force side, especially. He could even cut break side right here because there's not even a mark on Dickey yet. But let's see. So Ryan does cut from the back. That's good. Now we need a continuation pretty quickly, which we get from Brandon there. The problem is here is they go flat for a second to stop the next upfield throw. Brandon is open, so not sure if Ryan could have thrown that to Brandon or not. I mean, he could have maybe broken the mark and gotten this upfield to Brandon. So now here is where Dickey needs to go to the front of the stack, and I can get even with Ryan to set up a dump cut. So basically, that's pretty much what happens. Brandon clears. I'm kind of dancing a little bit too much. Ryan throws it up. I dropped the disc. It's just a bad drop. Sun got in my eyes, I swear. But yeah, I think they score after this. We make them work a little bit, but they score. Yeah, they score. So this is point number 3. We center this to Dickey. Dickey hits me back. I look to give and go here, but like I said earlier, we really need to just be patient and let the back of the stack cut. Nate makes a nice cut right here. He's open. I stopped my cut because I realized Nate's coming. But I really should have probably never made that strike cut right off the jump like that. I should have looked upfield, saw Nate before I even decided to do it, and just stayed back and let Nate make this cut. So Dickey looks, but Dickey doesn't throw, probably because I might have distracted him, or he thought I was going to run into Nate, so he doesn't throw it to Nate. Let's see. So then I come around for the break. Ryan makes another cut. Nate should have cleared a little bit quicker there. Kind of sat in the open lane a bit too long. Right there, I think he thought maybe he could have gotten a swing, but we don't need to worry about that if we're one of the stack. Let the two handlers take care of keeping the disc alive. Make the cut if you're coming from the back of the stack and get back to the middle of the stack. That way Ryan would have had an open lane there to cut to.
No big.
Dickey gets the disc back. I believe Brandon makes this cut from the back of the stack. It's a good cut.
Get it back. Yep.
But we just couldn't execute.
The punt. There's a punt.
So I think we get this disc back.
It was a good throw. It was a good choice.
Let's fast forward here. We're not going to cover defense. Yeah, this is where he drops the disc back there. So right here, Nate hustles to the line with the disc. We're not quite in the stack. We're kind of lollygagging. Dickey's on the open side. Ryan's kind of looking to like go to the back of the stack or something. But anyways, Nate hits me. The stack needs to be closer also. The stack is a bit too far upfield at this point away from the handlers. So even if somebody made a cut from the back of the stack, and if that flick side, open side was open and Dickey wasn't there, it might be too far for that back cutter to make a cut in, and definitely too far for the back cutter to cut deep, because we need to set up our deep cuts a bit closer. We don't want to be too deep when we set up deep cuts. But Nate hits me right here, centers it. I hit him back. I see that he's beating his man upfield. Nate does a nice job. We do a nice job working it up the field here. Nate still has his man beat here. Probably could have worked through Nate here all the way up the field. Ryan makes a good cut to the break side. David has an opportunity to throw it here. He throws it. Just not the best throw. It's just an execution error again. And Ryan's out of bounds. So they work it back up here. I believe they break. Again, not going to cover defense. They break. It's 3-0. So point number 4. Hold on, let me rewind this. I want to see this pull.
Yes.
Hustle into the stack. Not quite sure who's at the back of the stack, but it looks like the front of the stack is a little bit too far. I don't know if it's the camera angle. But we need the stack to be about 10 yards away from the front, or from where the disc is to the front of the stack. Looks like it's a little bit more than 10 yards, probably about 15, maybe 20 yards. I don't know, but it looks too far. We want that front of the stack to be 10 yards. So Nate, I believe, cuts from the back. Yeah, Nate makes a cut from the back. Another execution error. I don't know what happened there. Nate was open.
Get set up! Get set up, Dart!
Zach, hard on this.
Hard back. Yeah, we do get this back. Okay, hold on. Wind it right here. Dickey's bringing it in. We need to hustle into the stack. We're not quite in the stack by the time Dickey taps it in. Zach's got his hand up. He's saying, hey, stack on me. Ryan and Poche still jogging. Nate's at the back of the stack. So Dickey hits me over here. Right now they're kind of flat, but they start to force flick, I believe. Yeah, they're forcing flick. Nate cuts to the backhand side. This is a good center. This is the kind of cut from the front of the stack that I would like. We don't want to cut to the force side too much from the front of the stack, because we're a lot of times just cutting off the back of the stack, and we just don't get as many yards if we cut from the front of the stack. So that's why we want to prioritize cutting from the back of the stack, because we'll get more yards generally. But this cut right here from Ryan from the front of the stack is not bad, because we center the disc. They were forcing flick when I had the disc. Let's see what they do here. They don't quite set a mark, because Ryan dumps it back to me to the break side. Right here, Ryan shouldn't have dumped it here directly back to me. He needs to look upfield, and there needs to be a continuation cut. Poche was in the back of the stack at this point when Ryan had the disc. Let's rewind that again. So Nate cuts to the break side. It's not there. It's a hard throw. Ryan centers. Right now, if Ryan doesn't hit Dickey on this power position, Dickey needs to get out of the way, and Poche needs to cut immediately to this flick side, which is away from where we are camera angle-wise. Look how Poche's man is playing. He's way over the top of him, right? The second defender from the back of the stack, guarding Caleb, isn't even paying attention to Poche. So at this point, as long as Dickey doesn't clog this lane on the flick side, this should be a free throw to Poche if Poche immediately cuts to the flick side when Ryan has this disc. But all right, that doesn't happen. Ryan dumps it back to me. So from here, when I have the disc, we need to look to center it back, because the break side is already occupied by Nate over here. We're not going to be able to immediately go up the break side. So we need to look to center the disc.
Guys, cut!
So right there's a lot of cuts at once. A lot of cuts. I guess it's because maybe we get high in the stall count. It's not even. It's probably about stall 4. Yeah, it's not high in the stall count. But Nate needs to clear back to the stack a bit quicker from that break side so we can keep that break side clear in case we do get a break side throw and want to attempt to work up the break side. Either side, we need to cut and clear back to the stack. Nate needs to clear back to the middle of the stack here. And then Poche is at the back of the stack currently again and can cut once we center to the 4 side. Nate clears back to the back of the stack. So Zach should have been still here. Zach could have got a centering throw. He wasn't there. He got covered. And I'm kind of rambling here, sorry. But anyways, this should have been a cut from Poche to the open side once we had that disc centered. So we're kind of scrambling now. I swing it over to Dicky. Poche cuts. We hit him. Now here, there needs to immediately be a cut. Continuation cut from the back of the stack, which I believe now is Ryan. Ryan does it. We hit him.
He did.
Perfect. So Ryan gets it with the continue from the back. Now it should be, I believe, Nate's cut. Nate was in the back of the stack. Coxie kind of cuts. I don't know if Nate went deep. Nate comes back under, gets it, which is fine. But right now this open lane's pretty clogged. Get a nice swing to Cox. Kind of give and go here. Let's freeze it here. So let's see. I hit Poche here.
What's up?
I make a strike cut here. That mark was a little sagged off of Poche, so hold on. Let's go back here. We hit that.
What's up?
This mark is sagged off Poche right here. If Poche pivots and steps out, this might be a good throw. Look at a lot of space to this cone right here. A lot of space. I know it was muddy on this field and in that spot particularly, but I think Poche needs to at least pivot and fake a backhand right here. Get his mark moving, and if his mark doesn't move, he might have been able to even throw a score right here for a step out backhand. So we need to work on stepping out and pivoting so we don't miss out on opportunities like that. Where are we? All right. So at this point, since he looked me off, we need to get into our end zone offense. We're in the red zone. Poche swings, cuts. We're kind of in it. Dickie's kind of lost a little bit. He's kind of gotten stuck in this situation. But now Nate realizes that Nate goes to the stack. This is good. Right here, perfect. We're in the end zone, directly in all of our spots for our red zone offense. We swing it to Dickie. So for our red zone offense, Zach would strike right here, right? Ryan's man is playing on the break side, actually. So we might have been able to get an easy score here. However, we have about 3 cuts happening at once. Cox cuts from the middle of the stack. He should have been patient, shouldn't have moved. Zach is striking just like the play is supposed to be. Ryan needs to abandon his cut. As soon as he sees Caleb had cut him off, Ryan needs to abandon his cut. Everybody just needs to get back in the stack and let Zach strike. But anyways, Dickie's mark overplays the 4 side. Nate's at the front of the stack. Nate realizes it. Nate can fill here after Zach strikes, like our normal play. But Nate sees that Dickey's mark has completely just left the break side wide open. So Nate's able to get an easy score here
Score
to the backhand side.
3-1.
So we got bailed out
3-1. Alliance.
by their bad defense, but that's all right.
First D point.
Still scored. That's all that matters. Not terrible, but could have been better. Let's get this point. This is
4-1.
they score on us. Centering it to Dickey. Poche makes a good cut from the back. Ryan needs to cut. We're waiting too long. Waited way too long. And I believe Zach cut right there from the front. Again. Come on. So, we don't want to cut here from the front at all. We hit Poche. We got Poche on the fore side. There's a wide open lane. We need to cut from the back. These guys aren't even poaching from anywhere else in the stack a lot of times. They're just straight up playing us man-to-man. Ryan's got his man one-on-one here.
Yeah, cut Archie.
Ryan needs to cut fast. But since Zach cuts, this lane is clogged now. We would have gained almost no yards. Maybe 5 yards. But that front of the stack needs to sit still. We can't cut from the front of the stack when we got the disc on the fore side. Front of the stack needs to be patient and needs to be a high stall count reset to center the disc. Or if the disc is centered, they can cut break side. Or they can fill if one of the handlers strikes. But what we don't want from the front of the stack is them cutting to the fore side. Especially very early in the stall count. We don't want that. It's just going to clog up the space, which is what it does. And it's a tighter window when you cut from the front of the stack. It's just a harder throw, harder cut, harder to get open for less yards than if we cut from the back of the stack. It's just higher risk, lower reward, really type of cut than it is from the back of the stack. So Ryan should have cut.
Clear.
So Ryan cuts. Now it's too late. I mean, Ryan cuts all the way down to the handlers. We swing it to Dickey. We can't hit the break side. This right here is a good swing. We swing it. Ryan needs to just get back in the stack. We swing it to Dickey. This is good. Bren's able to get open. We can center the disc back. Would have been nice to get up the break side, but we center it. That's okay. Not sure where Ryan came from. Ryan goes directly, looks like back to the back of the stack or something, and then comes back. Ryan just needs to go to the stack and just be patient. You're cutting too much. Let other people cut from the back. So we got the disc centered here.
Everybody's gonna be under.
Wait a little bit. I'm behind Bren, so right here we get a wheel cut, right? Dickey clears out. I'm behind Bren. Hold on, gonna have to take a break here. All right, so like I was saying, we get this wheel cut right here, the front of the stack. As soon as this disc is thrown to this wheel cut, Zach's at the front of the stack. Zach needs to be ready to cut break side, essentially. So we hit the wheel cut. Zach starts to cut. It's a little slow, but that's all right. We still get it there.
Keep running hard.
Nice, Zach.
It's not bad. We're gonna continue up to Dickey here. Okay. I believe Dickey probably cut from the front of the stack. That's all right when we're going up the break side, as long as he didn't cut anybody off. I think Ryan goes deep here. It's a good throw. Ryan needs to box out a little bit better. Just deep. Ryan has body in front of his man, but he just needs to box out there. Or Dickey can just throw a better throw.
Hey, who's back here?
All right, so let's fast forward
Ready
here.
to make that dig, we never
We
got
get
it.
this back.
Zach, look Zach.
Back. And
It's an easy score.
All right, so this is our first break opportunity against Alliance. This game, we had an injury call, so I replaced, I think, Cox. So I'm currently on the D-line with them. But yeah, we get a turn here, and we have a break opportunity. So we're going to go over this part also, because that's offense also. So play it here. I think just drop it right here, yeah.
Turn.
Tough throw, tough drop. So at this point, we need to be running to get in the stack. Like, I know we're tired. I know it's the first game of the second day. But this is a break chance, okay? This is an opportunity. It's a gift. And we need to have a sense of urgency whenever we get a break opportunity. And D-line really needs to flip that switch. As soon as the disc is turned over, we're on offense now. And we need to bust our ass to get into the offensive set. So we need to run to the stack. No walking. Don't lightly jog. We need to run hard to get in the stack and set up our offense. Because especially off of a turn, if we can get, the faster we can get into our offense and get set up off of a turn, the easier it will be to score and break. If we're walking and allow them to get prepared off of this turnover here, then it's going to be much harder to score. Because if they're more prepared, their defense is going to be better. It's going to be harder to score, bottom line. So bottom line, run to the stack. If you're not a handler, you need to be busting your ass to get back to the stack. And we need to be excited for this break opportunity. Like, we have a break opportunity. It can change the momentum of the game. D-line getting breaks is one of the most important things in Ultimate Frisbee. So anytime you get an opportunity, we need to be ready and take advantage of it every single time, as much as we can. All right, so we're slowly jogging into this. I mean, stat gets there, bracket cuts from the front. Not sure if there was even really a cut from the back. When bracket cut, doesn't look like it, so he didn't really cut anybody off. Brandon continues. This is a good continue. Boston tries to continue. So right there, with Boston's cut, probably could have just taken off deep instead of giving up on his cut so early. So BMO could have either really cut really hard to the sideline, because I mean they started out kind of flat on Brandon, but now they're flick. They're gonna go flat for a couple seconds usually, and then go back to forcing whatever direction they want to force, which right now is flick, which is home, kind of towards the camera. But yeah, don't give up on your cut so early. Cut hard to the sideline, or if you don't think you're gonna get open under, cut hard under, and then bust deep really quickly. But don't give up on your cut so early, because a lot of times you're going to get open late on your cut as long as you're running hard. All right, so let me rewind that because I kind of went over. So we got bracket back there. Brandon's got the disc. I went over BMO because BMO's the next cut. Like I said, cut hard. Don't give up on your cut so early. Cut deep if you have to, if your defender's under you. Right here, bracket needs to clear out the space, clear out the dump space a little quicker. I mean, me and him already talked about that in the game. Or if bracket wanted to become the dump handler, he would get where I am and I would go to the front of the stack. I believe I've already said that before in another situation, but it's the same concept. If the thrower wants to become the dump handler, but generally I'm going to be the dump handler, bracket can just clear around and go to the front of the stack or just go to the middle of the stack, but not up the open lane. I would rather him go around to the break side and do that as quickly as possible. So anyways, bracket's clearing out. No upfield's getting open. I strike here because, I mean, the dump space was still a little occupied. Brandon's getting a little higher in the stall count. I know he was about stall 6, stall 7 by the time this was thrown. I maybe could have gone dump. But by the time I strike, I'm committing to it. This throw might be able to be possible if it's out in front of me more, but if it's much out further in front of me, then that defender upfield might be able to get there too. So I think this just needs to be a holster. It's not, like I said, it's about stall 6, maybe stall 7 at this point when this throw is thrown. So we still got a few more seconds to work with. I think this throw was a little forced. Guy was underneath me. He pretty much had me covered unless Brandon was able to throw it out in front of me to where I could get my body in front of my man. But we got Nate filling. If we look over to the left, Nate's getting ready to get in position and fill and probably go dump to give Brandon the last resort dump. And it looks like he probably would be able to get open if that were the case, if this had not been thrown. But it's a turn. I believe they pretty much just score pretty easily.
Go! Shannon hot, tight.
Oh, this is that crazy throw. Yeah, okay. Yeah, they score. I can go over defense, but let's go over the next point. So at this point, it's what is it, 5-2? It scores 5-2.